slice of life. Keep it maybe 10, 20-minute slice of life. It's another Friday, so it's another Friday series on generally digital information research activities of that ilk. These ones tend to be a little bit more mundane, or not mundane, but they can be a bit boring. They're definitely more objective. I focus more on practical stuff, so it's, I guess, kind of antithetical that on a Friday at the end of the week we're talking more about work-related stuff. It's not really work-related, but you get the idea. Anyways, that may change. I don't know. We'll see. So continue off from the previous short episode in this series. We were trying to knock off a variety of tabs. We covered some stuff on mostly income. There's a lot of income tax related stuff in 2023, 2024, year 2025, which will follow in 2026. So like 3-4 years, folders with invoices, receipts, and stuff like that. And I also closed a folder that had project assets and so branding and the visual graphics related to this project. So what I've done, and there was also like security camera footage. There was just a lot of stuff put there, and it was very much of a memory hog, if I can recall. In fact, I feel like I almost want to show you that, what that looks like, but I don't have it prepared yet. I could probably pause it and do that actually if I really, really want to. I forget sometimes when it's happening. If I switch scenes, is that it stops pausing. But you can see right here. So at the very back now is the event viewer, and if you go to Windows, and you go to Start menu and click on Event Viewer, what you can find is all the errors, warnings, and informational events. And so if I pull up here, one of the key ones here was the resource exhaustion. So you have custom views, administrative events, device manager, summary events. So Windows successfully diagnosed a low virtual memory condition. Is event ID 2004 resource exhaustion detector. And yeah, system events related to exhaustion of system to commit to. So the following programs consumed the most virtual memory. Microsoft Edge, unsurprisingly, consumed, it looks like, that's a 271 MB, about 2 gigabytes, 1.8 gigabytes for the Defender service, and another. So it's just, and you can see the date and times here. So 2025, the 2nd, the 5th, that's today of recording. And it's happened several times, so it's not good. Definitely not good. And then we also can pull out the reliability monitor, which I usually keep this one open because it's quite helpful. We already talked about this in a separate episode, but so I don't have to cover it too much. But you can see I had several major crashes when trying to record. This one was just online here. That sucks. And then over here we had a major issue here. Again, 3 critical events, right? And 3 critical events 2 days later. Today, when recording, OBS Studio just couldn't handle all the memory, and so it crashed. Again, OBS browser page stopped working. OBS Studio stopped working. Blah-de-da. And so it's really important that I really just knock off some tabs here today. Connected user. This was really bad. The whole screen was just think of like kid pics with your E machine in like in 95. You drag your mouse and it's lagging like crazy, and then the image of the mouse on your E machine, the Windows XP, like it leaves after images across the screen. It's like the screen didn't freeze, but it's like locking up and capturing all the in between transitions. So it was really bad, really bad, honestly. Not good at all. So I'm gonna switch scenes back to Windows, I believe. And good. Okay, so what I want to cover now, I'm gonna close Event Viewer. After having shown you that, is cover some. Let's continue, right? So Excel spreadsheets from where we left off. I was talking about income tax. This one is not on income tax. This one is on. It's on daily spreadsheet. This is the one that I keep all my transactions, daily observations. Make note of any conversations, significant conversations or interactions with people here, any sort of emails that, any appointments, times and dates that I need to be wary of. I know those kind of weird to not use a calendar for something like that. I just find it way more efficient to just dump it all into the Excel spreadsheet. And it's like, if you don't organize it well, yeah, but you can do anything with Excel. So obviously Excel can become a daily planner and a calendar and a task list all in one at the same time if you know what you're doing. And it worked fantastic for me, so that's what I do. And if you can't tell right here on the very backdrop, right now you can't read it, I bet, because it's too small. But I actually copied and pasted the name of the previous episode here. So 2025-07, 2025-0205. That's February 5th. MS Office 365 Suite, important documents, urgent DV or SA, domestic violence, assault, moving photos, tax returns 2024, 2025, housing security cam, Mandarin volunteer posts, Amazon gym invoice. And if I could, I would fit more into like the project folder, that had a banner and channel profile pictures and stuff like that, but I'm not gonna be able to do that. So anyways, so I put even the title of my project episodes in here, and they're not particularly well organized when I do this, but that's okay. It's not that important right now as of yet. So the next thing I'm gonna do, I do keep this spreadsheet on at all times, so there's not much point in me closing it. What I'm gonna do now is pop over to a folder that has kind of like when all the social resources, the social organizations that were social work, basically social services that were involved in getting me a shelter, like a food bank, a caseworker with the community, a caseworker with the government, a caseworker for finding housing support. It's all here, right? Among other things, as well as new employment, schedules like that, accountant, like it's just a bunch of stuff here that's all related to kind of like the crisis situation that I was kind of dealing with at the moment, at the time. And I don't have any purpose to have this open with anymore. It's nothing to do, like it's been a while since I've actually opened this folder, but all the social services that you can think of, from housing to crisis management, to social services and supports, mental health services, suicidality, housing, seeking new employment, finding food banks, it's all here. Caseworkers, right? Therapists, blah. Yeah, they're just that kind of stuff. It's that kind of stuff. And that folder can also kind of go away. So I'm gonna close that. Which, by the way, leads to a very interesting tab here, because this tab is actually exactly identical to the tab that we just closed in the previous episode, right? Like I said, we took photographs and had to send it to the movers who were helping me with the crisis situation. So on top of, social services and mental health supports and employment, new employment and government subsidies and stuff like that, and housing, there's also, of course, the logistics team of volunteers, the third-party organizations, the NGOs, nonprofits that come to help abused individuals and facing domestic violence, psychological, emotional, physical violence and abuse and neglect and harassment, and just, you know, so there's that logistical stuff there. And turns out I had 2 tabs open on the same thing. I can get rid of that as well. Okay, so we don't really need this either, which is great. Speaking of which, we probably also don't, well, we do need this, but this is the login page for the seniors' homes I was talking about. We'll pop into this some other time. Basically, every month or so, I'm supposed to document the number of hours that I've spent volunteering, including in every department, such as the one where I do friendly visiting calls. So, not gonna dive too much into that one at the moment. So speaking about you know, income tax as well as project folder, assets. Sorry, it's 3 a.m. at night. I slept during the day. I came back from work. I was dead tired, and then I just like fell asleep on the bed. It's like 4 p.m. in the afternoon, and I slept until like 9. So I'm doing this at night. Not good, but that's what it is. Over here we have a spreadsheet. So we were talking about income tax and like, right, the pro source fitness in the previous episode, right? So income tax, we still have more stuff here. Not this spreadsheet, but this spreadsheet is related to the pro source fitness stuff, because that was a gym mat, and that was it's like a gym mat. They can put together like tiles, and then you can do all sorts of calisthenic movements and exercises, which, you know, I guess you could say that before calisthenics blew up, I probably was like pioneering kind of ahead. Like I never did it, any sort of recordings of it, but you know, that's the kind of stuff I was like into. So, you know, it was a niche thing, calisthenics, growing up. I'm almost astonished at how, not almost, it's incredible. I'm totally taken aback and astonished at how far people have developed calisthenics and how mainstream it had been a couple of years back. Anyways, the point is, this is actually a spreadsheet that documents a lot of like physical hobbies, activities, fitness, media, and in this case, this is a spreadsheet here. I'm not sure. I think you know, if you want, you can try to figure out the pattern here, because there's dates here on this column, and if you want, you can start trying to figure out what the numbers here correspond to. 2021, 23, 4, 30, 33, 34, 37, 44, 48, 51. It's just some very basic, I'm just keeping track of how things change over time. If you know what these figures are, it'll be, I don't think you'll be able to figure out the pattern, but if you can, that'd be interesting. I'm only hinting at it because it's something that you could actually figure out anyways. But you can tell there's a lot of spreadsheets down here: 150, 155, 170, 210. I don't name them according, you know, they're just numbers. I don't use like, for example, 155 could be fitness, 170 could be sleep, 210 could be, you know, social media, 399 could be nutrition, 400 could be the budget and transactions, 410 could be a directory of, you know, all the addresses and shopping malls that I've been to, you know. So that's how that works. This is a I had to dig this up. I should mention how important this spreadsheet is, because I have been trying really hard to look for the spreadsheet where I used to have like a set regimen for fitness, you know, certain stretching exercises, strength, endurance, cardio, martial arts, and combat. I would list them all out. I would tell how many sets and reps I would do of each, you know, like, you know, dumbbells, squats, pull-ups, crunches, you know, leg lifts. You know, you have it on, just name it all. Pull and contracting, flexor, extensor exercises. And yeah, I was looking for it. Long story short, this might be a spreadsheet, so I really need this, because I guess I'm engaged in a kind of like a recovery treatment plan. And this recovery treatment plan is due to, again, a lot of sabotage from bad actors in my previous neighborhood and community, and then, well, especially I talked about DV, so that's within the blood as well and household. But now that I'm free from that, I still have been subject to that quite a bit, whether it's at work or in the public. So anyways, it's going through a treatment plan, and we've set something up, and so long story short, I should document it. So I'm going to probably create a new copy of the spreadsheet, and of one of the spreadsheets within this workbook, Excel workbook, and try to start documenting that. So, okay. Very important, right? Very, very important. Actually, this is a very important spreadsheet. Okay, so this one is a very important spreadsheet, right? As well. And this one covers income taxes, and you can tell I definitely put the privacy graphic up. It's very important I do that because this is the one that covers all my business expenses, and so it's the accountant. This is the bookkeeping file that I usually send and share with my accountant. This is the one for next year. Well, it's for this year, 2025, which will be filed in 2026. And so obviously, if you can't tell, I mean, I'm going to read a few of these out here from the blocked out part from the privacy graphic. I can see there's a receipt here for Walmart. And it seems to be like for racking that I want to use as a prop for this project. So again, we're claiming deductibles, right? We're going to write off some of the taxes and the purchases made here over the years as our costs accrue. Excuse me. I know it's late at night and I ate. Mobile data receipt. That one is just a subscription to Microsoft Outlook, right? Microsoft Suite. Mobile phone, right? So every month. So this one here really just runs through the month of January 2025. So that's this year, this month, the past month. So where I'm living, the rent paid, 300, whatever, 450, 56, 18 bucks, 15, 79. That one's for the mobile transport, just taking public transit. So that's that. And you know what? Why don't we pop over to the spreadsheet that involves the previous year? And here is the previous year. So this is the one that we have shared with our accountant. And as you can see, I didn't put the privacy graphic because this year I moved to a section that doesn't involve any personally identifiable information here. But if I go down here, you can see that the spreadsheet, at least in this part, I'm not going to sift through. I'm not going to move the spreadsheet because I don't want to show any information that shouldn't be shown. But long story short, you can see this divided into many columns and rows, each designed at different sizes with different formatting, and covering things like revenue. Obviously the figures here are not exactly up to date, and it's not exactly the one that I have tinkered around, obviously, because I'm not going to give you like actual figures for, I'm not going to give actual figures because it's not relevant to what do you call it? Not relevant. It's not secure. I obviously wouldn't give real figures in real time on a video. But long story short, you can see that there are things here related to like rent. So why don't I just read you some of the columns? So the values and figures aren't right, but I will tell you that the columns are pretty much the same. So I'll tell you, for example, there's a column on government, wages, benefits, commissions, subsectioned, and then another subsection has operations, networking, learning, protection, software, devices, equipment, health, utility, transport, warehousing, residency, and accounting. Those are the ones that I usually sift through personal categories and I check them off. On the side, we have figures, like just some sample figures, 201, 14, 3277, 28, 24. And usually we work with the math. And then there's the tax column, HST, which you can't see here, which gets, 10, 15% or whatever. There's also a documentation and proof description. So the file name, let's say FMBL, SSSS, one standing for like a mobile smartphone plan company. And I would, if that's the name of the receipt, the January 2025, or in this case, December 2024 receipt for the mobile plan that I paid for, then I would include it there on that column so that my accountant can see corresponding to which transaction is which file that's going to be the relevant proof of purchase. But of course, there are other columns here, right? If I go to the left just a little bit, you can see that, of course, there's columns that are representative, that there's corresponding columns for the categories of my personal projects, right? Like networking, transport, utility, health, office, and then I translate that over to the relevant columns that you would use on the official government reporting forms. So the T4 and so on and so forth. So software administration, cybersecurity protection, public transport, parking, gasoline and amenities, car lease, maintenance and repair, car insurance, license, registration fees, home tenant insurance, home maintenance, and so on and so forth. So that's all that. And this is the spreadsheet that I don't need open, but I closed the other one anyways. So I closed the one for this year, 2025, and this one I can also close as well since I've spoken about it now. And that's good because Excel spreadsheets take up a lot of RAM, and I'm glad to get rid of this since honestly there's no need for me to have this open after sharing with my accountant. Though, I just want to show one more thing. If you can't see, there's a column for HST now. So telecom, office expenses, membership due fees, and so on and so forth. Yeah. And so there's HST column. I'm just getting whatever, 14, 15, 17%. Anyways, over here we have it looks like this one is just like a malfunction web page. I don't know what's here. I know it's clearly referring to something that was used to be a OneDrive file, it seems, but it's just not working. So, all the merrier. We can get rid of this. It's just trash. I want to cover another Excel spreadsheet before I close off with this podcast episode. And oh my God, this one's really bringing back all the flooding memories. Oh man, I guess those were better days, right? Not better days, actually, I should say. It's better now, I think, in my opinion. Those were just happier days, I guess. So this is a very important spreadsheet. I'm not going to say why. You can think of I'll say briefly why, but basically it's got to do with security, right? I'm not going to say much more than that. But there's several variety of spreadsheets here. You can imagine there are some places I've been to and addresses and credentials. But it's no actual, if anything, they're all, it's not even encrypted. It's more than encrypted. You would never write anything down digitally, right, when it comes to credentials, but I would get at best the algorithm and put it in here. That's about it. But it's a spreadsheet that's fairly important. Very, very important. So down here, we have ironically, one of the spreadsheets, something that's really not that important, and kind of surprised me. I was looking for a spreadsheet that I could actually show, and I can see it's like a task list. It looks like, not a task list, but acronyms for all the platforms we once used. Oh, that's why I got to do credentials and accounts. So Twitch, XSplit, Vine, Vimeo, YouTube, Blogger, LiveJournal, Skyrock, Posthaven, Hub Pages, Typepad. Those are blogs. Those are live streaming platforms. Those are video sharing platforms. Oh my God, the corny, really kind of cringeworthy, excessively positive lines here on cognitive science and peace and conflict, vlog, 50 plus topics, applied philosophy of mind, cognitive science. Yeah, bookworm. Anyways, stuff like research. Oh wow, wow. Right. Anyways, this is usually a spreadsheet that I keep open, but I'm not gonna show you obviously where I usually keep it open at, because if I did that, then I would be revealing potential contact information, not just credentials, but like people contact information, right? Like phone numbers, for example. Anyways, over here we have another folder. I think we're done with all the spreadsheets, thankfully. So this is a folder, and we're going back to like cloud storage, OneDrive folders, right? Microsoft OneDrive instead of Microsoft Excel. So finally, I'm very glad to say that we closed a few spreadsheets that we didn't need. But over here we have, we're going back to like, I guess, taxes. And this whole folder is kind of blocked out because it has pay stubs from my workplace. And so again, my legal name and so on and so forth. So blotted out. Long story short, every week I get a pay stub. So 52 weeks a year, 52 pay stubs. So yeah. And 99 bottles of beer on the wall, 99 bottles of beer. If one of those bottles would happen to fall. So, 98 bottles of beer on the wall. Okay. Alright, so I think this is probably a good place to leave it, because we covered the Excel spreadsheets and that's just heavy. Yeah, but I can't show this much very well. Long story short, I think we might be segueing a little bit into Word, so I think that's what we'll do. We'll just wrap it up here. It's like 27 minutes. So what's next is like, I guess it's got to do with disability. That's unfortunate, but I don't know. Part of me really wishes that, not wish, but we thought that throughout the years we'd be able to make it out without incurring serious, severe injury. Wishful thinking, right? So, I mean, when you're embroiled in just a deck of cards, right? You're working with whatever cards you've been dealt. So, anyways, well, we'll talk about this in the next episode. So, see you guys there. Peace. It's got to do with applications.